Hi guys, welcome back to Modifix. My name's Dan and today we are modding. We're actually doing a little bit of a fix, but we're going to be modding as well. What we're going to do today is fit the reverse camera, run the wires to the back and all that sort of stuff. But there's a bit of an addition in that, actually let me show you. Okay, so as you can see here, previous owner has rather handily butchered this rear quarter panel trim, so I have had to buy some replacements so that I can replace it. Look at that, look at the state of it, disgusting. It's quite handy actually, because whilst I've got it out I'll run all the wires for the camera and stuff. The same goes to this side as well. So on this side, look, hash job there, and then he smashed the shit out of that as well. So I'm gonna have to uninstall the rear quarter door cards, or whatever you want to call them, rear quarter cards, and run the wiring. And just like that, it's all out. There you go, nice and easy that was. No, I'm joking. This here is the replacement panel for the passenger side. As you can see, it's all in good condition and not butchered like the other one. But what I wanted to show you here was that it is all clipped on. There's no screws on this. Let me just show you the other side. So you got, look, clips all along the top. You got two clips down the side, and then you got clips all down the bottom as well. There. So basically I'm gonna have great fun pulling out the old one. Let's see how many clips we can snap. Should be interesting. Right, if you've got a jack in here, first things first, remove it. On a separate note, if you have got a jack in here, make sure it's actually tight, because mine was loose when I first got the car, and there's a ever so annoying rattle coming from this corner, and it took me a while to diagnose it, but it was actually that. So do check it. But anyway, in this instance, undo the strap and then just unwind it and take it out. All right, first and foremost, remove this trim because it overlaps that one. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 clips on the top, and you also have to pop out that square bit. Actually, I don't know if that's compulsory actually, but there's a little screwdriver slot in there. I think you could probably get away with leaving that in the hole. So yeah, don't do what I did, you could leave that in there. I might actually get a replacement one of these at some point as well. But anyway, that's out. Now let's have a look at getting this out. All right guys, when doing this job, quick tip: invest in a trim removal kit, something like this. They're not expensive, about 20 quid, something like that. And then sort of pull the rubber off how as you want to go, and just identify where the clips are. There, and then just stick your lever bar in and gently prise it out. And I think with this job, you know, you got to take a bit of care and do it slowly, otherwise you'll end up in a situation like this where it's all buggered. What I'm going to do now is move to that side and start taking all that out. So first things first, undo the rubber, pull it forward, and then just look inside and see if you can identify where the clips are. I can see one down there, so I'll undo that and then I'll pull it and see what else we can see as well. And if I get stuck at any point, I just look at the old panel. Forgot to mention, you do need to undo this because it clicks into that. So just undo that. You don't have to take it all the way out, I don't think, but let's see how we get on. Okay, again, check where the clips are and pop them out. So there's one there. This sort of squeezes down with the rubber, so that holds it in. And then you've got a clip there further up, and then you've got a clip up here. So if you just stick the bar in and slowly prise it, you should get to all the clips you can. So I've undone all those now. Just gonna go up the top now here and have a look at what's there. Hopefully it will just clip upwards, and that's it, done. All right guys, I've got this far. What I did was I just sort of grabbed it from here and gave it a firm yank, and those three there popped out. So that's what we've got behind. Don't forget to unplug your rear cigarette lighter socket, and then you've got a couple in here. So you've got one down there, one here in the middle, goes in that hole there. Ideally you want to be removing the rear seats, but I can't be asked, and this panel's going to go in scrap anyway, so I'm not too bothered. So the main thing is that you see your seat belt here, there's a panel here that actually comes out, so you'll need to take that out to sort of weave the seatbelt round, like that, and then the seatbelt will actually come through and around here, that space there, otherwise you won't get the panel out. So just be mindful of that. It has to come through and around there, through that gap, otherwise this panel's never coming out. Okay, so we're nearly ready for lift off. I've just yanked it upwards from here, and what you got to be mindful of is that the seat belt actually sits over all of it, so if you can, just try and pull it away and then thread it through, or try and clip it in somewhere so it's out of the way totally. Alright guys, everything is out, and that actually looks naked. Lovely. So now what I want to do is just do a quick comparison of the two panels, and then Bosch the new one in. Basically, I think I've torn the plastic there a little bit, but not too bad. Okay, so now is the ideal opportunity to run my wires, so I'm going to do that. And if you wanted to, it's a good opportunity to upgrade your speakers, but this speaker seems okay, and they're a decent quality, I think, the Honda speakers, so I'm going to leave that for now. Maybe in the future I may think about putting a new one in, but we'll see about that. Right, let's run the wires. Okay, so first things first, I've taken the wires and I've put them around this little bracket here so they don't actually foul anything, and then I'm going to pull them along and down, probably behind that seat belt as well. Okay guys, with the amp wires, it's actually quite an easy route. You could probably get away with not pulling the quarter panel out and just routing them down the bottom and just going all the way around, just tucking them in with a trim tool and then just dropping them down into the well, because that's where my amp is going to live. That was fairly straightforward. I tried to go, well, I did go around these wires here just to keep this tucked in and stop it from sort of flopping out later, and that's it really. So that's pretty much done. I was thinking about cable tying them, but in the event that I want to pull them out in a hurry, cable ties are just a pain in the bum. I doubt they'll ever come out of the car, to be honest, so I might cable tie them. So anyway, that's done. As you probably saw earlier, I routed this wire around that bracket as well. In hindsight, I could have actually gone through there. I might still do that, but we'll decide that later. But anyway, so that wiring is pretty much done. Now for the camera, I had to go sort of up here, and what I've done is I've gone around that loom, around the back of it, and then through here, and then through that foil tape there, or insulation tape, or whatever you want to call it, and then I probably will cable tie that wire further up there somewhere, so it stays in position, because that is going to then go around here and into the boot. So that's where we are thus far. Okay, so I've got the black cable up to here, the video cable, and what I've realised is I need to get it in that grommet. So what I've done is I've pulled this out. There's one sneaky little bugger over there which you need to pull out very carefully. I'm not going to pull it all the way out, and then basically what I've done is I've pulled the grommet out, and you can see under where the actual wire is coming from. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to push my finger with the wire around there and then just pull it through, because I think to pull this off you have to take the seat belt off, and I don't really want to do that. Okay, and just like that, the wire's through, and I've got plenty of it now, so that's good. And as you can see, it's come through there. I did scratch up my hand a little bit having it squashed in here, because that is quite sprung loaded. It helps if you do this when it's warm, because when it's cold the plastics just aren't pliable at all. But anyway, that's done, and it runs nicely down there. So now I'm going to pull the grommet off here and take all this trim off here and see if I can get it in a decent position where I want the camera. Alright guys, a slight change of plan in that I've got the cables to where I need them in terms of this quarter panel cover, so I'm just going to put the cover back on now, because it just means I can use the car if I need to. It's back together, and then I can move on to this side and run the cables for that, and then I'll do the reverse cam after. Right, I've got it roughly in position, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to it's sitting on top of the seat. So what I'm going to do is pull this panel out here and feed the belt through. So you've got to obviously weave it inside the belt and then feed the belt through there and then drop it down. So as you can see, the belt has been now fed through. I'm going to put that panel back on and then drop it into position. Alright guys, the panel is in. Things escalated very quickly. Basically I had to take that out, which was just pretty much stuck in there. It wasn't, I'll just show you, hold on. That was all clipped in at the top. So those 4 clips clip in to that panel there, and I had to unbolt that. That panel there had 1 bolt there, 1 bolt there, and then 2 bolts at the bottom which were covered, so you have to pop them with a screwdriver. So yeah, that was a bit of a pain, but I had to take that out in order for this to clear. And then there was an absolute pain in the bum. So what I'd advise you to do if you don't want to take the seats out is take that clip out, because what happens is this one fouls everything and it just doesn't want to go in. But you've still got these 2, you see, so it should be alright really. That one down there is not going to really go anywhere. I had to remove the cover again, this one, from here, because the seat belt was snagging underneath. So just leave that off until you have to put it back on again. And on that note, nice little secret hiding place. Right, now we're going to do the driver's side, rinse and repeat. Passenger side's all done. The driver's side we've got to change it anyway, and I want to run the live wire for the amp on the opposite side, and the reason for that is I'll show you later, but there's a grommet that goes out into the engine bay on the driver's side. There's nothing on the passenger side, so if you want to run your live wire then you need to do it on this side. Right, and that's the driver's side out. So it was pretty much all the same. Biggest difference on this was here, so you've got this little pocket that actually like sort of slots. Let me show you, hold on. So you've got this pocket here which like sort of sits that way, and it clips in and it actually sits in that recess. You'd never be able to get this out even if you pulled it till kingdom come, unless you actually absolutely destroyed it. So yeah, you just need to release that off. There's a couple of little tabs that you have to press down, and then just swing it out, and then that's it. The rest is pretty much the same as the other side in terms of the seat belt and all that stuff. In fact, on this I just bent it down because I'm not really bothered about this panel that much. So yeah, so that's that out. Now I'm going to run the live wire. Once I've done that, I'll put the new panel in. Happy days. Right, something to share. These panels actually all come out, which is brilliant. So if you actually just wanted to change your speaker, you don't actually have to take this whole panel off. You can just lift this panel out first. There's just 1, 2 and 3 clips. You lift that out gently, prise it out, that comes out, and then you can unscrew all of those and then unclip it and pull it out, and there you go. You can change your speaker without removing any of this, which is great. I had to leave this yesterday because the wire that I had, the live wire, was not quite long enough. I thought I'd resume today. It's been chucking it overnight, and guess what I found? Puddle of water. I'm gonna try and suss out where that came from before I put it back together, because there's obviously water coming in and that's no good. I'm gonna have a rummage about and see if I can suss out where it's coming from. Alright guys, I've managed to thread the live wire from there. I've gone around the original loom, and then I've gone around that bracket. That's the same thing I did on the passenger side, where the seat belt runs down there, and then I've gone along here, and then I started worrying about whether I'm going to be able to get through the firewall and how much extra length I'm going to need. So I started identifying places you couldn't actually go through the firewall, and we have a few opportunities. A lot of people say, oh, go through the passenger side, remove the grommet thing and drill through the metal. I hate drilling in any car basically if I don't have to. So there's a few opportunities on this one. There's one near the accelerator pedal up there, That one's a bit of a pain because it's actually behind a load of stuff in the engine bay and you can't even see the other side of it. And then what I noticed is there's quite a big one over there in the middle, just to the right of the center console at the back. So I think that's the best option. There is this little blank over here, but from what I can see, that seems to sit behind the servo. So I think that's the best option. So what I've done, I'll show you the other side in a minute. I've stabbed a screwdriver through it. Let me show you the other side. Right, so as you probably can see, I've stabbed a screwdriver through it there, and there's the other side of the wiring loom. It's always a good idea to follow your main engine wiring loom to see where it goes through the firewall and then just piggyback off that basically. So I've stabbed the screwdriver through. Plan is I'm going to route the live wire, tape it to that screwdriver and then try and pull it through. Wish me luck. Right guys, after much ado I've got it pretty much set up. I don't know if you can see that, it's bloody hard videoing this upside down in the footwell, but I've got a bit of garden wire, popped it through that hole and then I've hooked it around the ring on the live wire. I put a little bit of a gash in the flange with a Stanley knife, and now I'm going to try and pull it through the other end. Wish me luck. Oh, the other thing is that if you look here, you can see the main loom runs across the top there, and I just followed the line of that. That was a pain because it's all very tight in here, especially if you've got big hands. All right guys, so as you can see there's my wire. I put a bit of a loop on it so I can grab it easily with my finger. And now I'm just going to pull it through slowly, and hopefully we get the desired result and it don't snag on anything. Oh, is it giving birth? Come on. Oh, you son of a... I've actually broke the wire. The worst thing the worst thing is it's right there. I don't know if you can see that. Hold on. You can see the edge of the hoop coming through. Problem is that hole is really small and I didn't gash it on this side. Let me see if I can grab that with pliers or something. If I can, that would be fantastic, but otherwise back to the drawing board. Alright guys, so what I've just realised is that green bit sticking out of the grommet is actually only the sleeve, and this has unfolded itself. So it is back to the drawing board. I'm going to have to go back in there, pull it all back, post this through again, hope for the best. Right, I've evolutionised the process a little bit. I'm using good old hanger wire this time because it's a little bit harder than garden wire. And I've got pliers because on the other side I'm going to twist it around solid and make sure it's got a good grip of the O-ring thing. And I've got some good old lube. I'm going to put that on the end of the wire so it slips through the grommet nice, because I think there's no lube and it's snagging. You don't want to go in dry, I think, with these things. Right, I've looped it around, I've lubed everything up including the wire at that end. Wish me luck, let's go and try and pull it through. Okay, a moment of truth time. Is it going to come through this time, or is it going to be a pain in the proverbial? Okay, something happened there, got stuck somewhere. Oh yes, the lube worked a treat, look at that. Yes, now it's going to loop it over this way and route it to the battery, and then I'll be happy. Righty ho, I thought I'd get this bit on video. I'm going to route it all the way around that pipe there, whatever that is, and then around the aircon pipes, around that bracket and all that stuff, and I'm going to use a trusty old hanger to do that. So I've got it looped around. Let's do this live, or at least try to, if it doesn't get stuck. And it's already stuck. Right, okay, hold on. There we go. I think we nearly got it. Can you see that? Yes, there we go, baby. Right, we're nearly at the battery now. Happy bloody days. Couldn't be happier. Right, I am very happy with this. The wire comes out of there, along there, back of all of that stuff there, and then comes along here, around here, behind that wire there, around the fuse box, and then into this little trunking here and to the battery eventually. Not now, because we've got a live end over there. So really happy with that. I do need to fit a fuse at the other end, but we'll cross that bridge later. Should fit a fuse here really, but I think I'll just fit it over there because it's just easier, isn't it? I might put a couple of cable ties in just to hold this steady. I mean, I don't know if you remember all this trunking, but it was bloody everywhere on all the pipes, all the wires. It looked disgusting, and I got rid of all of that. I don't know if I put a picture up in my Instagram maybe, I don't know, but anyway, got rid of all of that, and the only one I left was this because it was sort of relevant. It's a live wire. I left it on there, and it's quite handy actually because that blue wire can be concealed in there and then just go straight to the battery. So yes, I think I'm happy with that for now. I can start checking for length and paneling everything back up now. Again, look how neat a job that is. It's not coming in the way of anything. Running with original loom, no sign of it at all. And then I did take that panel out, that just unclips, and ran it through there, behind that kick panel, under the carpet, and then it goes all the way back from there. So I can put this rubber back now and put the panel back and continue on the job. I'm a bit stumped as to where this water's coming from, so I've just pulled out the bung for now, because my initial thoughts were that it would be coming from the rear light, but all of this is sealed. So how's it going to come from the rear light from here? I mean, the only other place it could be coming from is from inside the boot, because I have noticed there has been water getting in the boot, and I don't know where that's getting in from, so I'd have to investigate that another time, I think. Let's crack on with the job at hand. I need to get this panel in now. All the wiring's done. I've just decommissioned all that pile of junk there. I had a reverse parking sensor kit. That was absolute crap. Wired into this. That's going to go firmly in the bin. We've got a reverse camera coming anyway, so let's put the panel back in. Okay, so again, wrap your seat belt around, get it roughly in place, get it through the hole there, and don't forget about this special cubby bit here, which is a pain in the backside. You have to fit that back in once you've actually got it in the hole, yeah. So as I mentioned before, left the bottom clip out on that side, so it just goes in easy, and it did actually slide down nice. And now I've just got this bit to contend with. Don't forget to put your wire back in the hole there for the light, and then you can slot it all back in. Just be mindful that that bracket comes through there for the seats, and a few bits come through there as well, like those hoops and stuff. So you just be mindful of all of that and just slot it back in place, and then you can bend that round at the last minute. Guys, it's the next day, and the rear quarter card is in. Now what happened yesterday was this ring here, if it was facing up, it's easy. You just reposition that carpet bit there and you pull it out, right? But this was facing down and it was trapped behind, and then the seat belt over there, the buckle decided that it would sit under the panel, so that was a right pain in the bum to get out as well. So basically I had to remove the whole panel again and position everything correctly and then put it back in. So that's done. Now I've just got to put the light in, which I can't see the cable for, so that might have to come out again, and I just need to push that around into the hole, and then that is that quarter panel card lined up and done, and then I can put all this stuff back in. The amp I think I'm going to leave for now. I'm going to try and pursue this reverse camera wiring and get that all plumbed in, and then the amp will come after, I think. Alright, next we need to thread this through that grommet and get it in here. We've got to have somewhere to receive it as well, but first let me see if I could just thread it through the grommet, and that's it. Right, so I've got some thick core cable here, one of those household jobbies. What I'm going to do now is tie this under the cable to that, parallel like that, with some insulation tape, lots of lube, and I'm going to try and pull it through. Wish me luck. Rightio, that's all taped up now. I'm just going to lube it up and pull it through. Okie dokie, so I've got the cable through, and I've pushed this back in because there's no need for that to be out now. Now I've got to remove all these panels and see if I could pull the wiring up here somewhere. Right, after a lot of headache, I've finally threaded that through there and got it out here. So now do the same as I did to this side, tape it to that side and pull it through. One thing I have to note is that this trim here is horrible. I think if you do it in the summer when it's nice and warm, it might be easier, but in this cold weather it's horrible and brittle and you just feel like you're going to break everything. Take a note of where all the buttons sit, right, and then use your trim removal tool. You need something quite firm like this here, or there's a longer version of that I was using as well. But yeah, you will need a combination of those. Make sure they're firm, and then be semi-confident when you're pulling it out, because any sort of hesitation and you will sort of bend stuff or crack it. And luckily I haven't cracked or bent anything. These two clips did actually stay in the car, and I think that one broke, so I've replaced that with some of the spares I've got from the interior trims. And then as you can see here, those actually just clip in as well, so everything just clips in. So you've got to pull that all away from the back and then work your way towards the front. Once you pull these panels out from the inside, you can actually get to these one at a time and prise them out slowly, and then once they're out you can start pulling on the whole thing and pull it sort of this way, yeah, and then you should be sweet. And just for your information, the third brake light lives here. If you ever have any problems with that, that's where you find that. There's a little thing here as well where you can open the boot manually, so if you had to, there's a little actual peephole on the plastic which is there. I removed that thinking, oh, I'm gonna need to take that off because there'll be a screw under there, but actually that's the quick release or the manual release for the boot should you ever get stuck and your battery goes flat. So there you go. Anyway, all that trim's off. I've threaded that all the way through. Pain in the arse, but I've done it, and now I'm just going to take that up and pull it through. Righty ho, we've fished that through the hole, so that's good. And I've put the rubber grommet back, so that's great. Now I've got to decide where I'm going to place the camera. I'm thinking I'm going to remove one of the rear lights. Then this bit of plastic here that's sticking out looks prime for a reverse camera. Okay, so it's just 3 8mm nuts, and we need to remove that little plug. There we go. The light is out, and I've threaded the camera through. There's a little gap there, so I've pushed the ends of the cable through there, and they've just about fit. But now I'm looking at this, and it's going to be bloody awkward to get screws in there, so I'm thinking take this out, and in that case we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's another one that I've just taken out a minute ago. So let's do that, and I think I'll have to remove the reverse light plugs as well. Okay guys, and just like that, the center section is out, and that's where I'm going to put the camera. So I'm just going to place this on the tailgate, position the camera, mark it out, drill it, screw it in. I have marked out the holes, drilled the holes using a 1mm drill bit. I've got some screwies here which are just under 10mm, I think. I'm going to screwy that in the right way around like that. I don't think there's actually a light or anything in that bit, it's just a blank. I don't think it matters how deep you drill the holes. You don't want to be drilling around this area or this area for that matter, because then you are going into light territory and you don't want moisture in there. Anyway, just going to screw that in now and rock and roll. Right then guys, that is screwed up and in position. I think I'm just going to go straight through that hole now. I'm not going to bother going through the light on the side. I had to take the light on the side out anyway, because painfully enough you can't take the center garnish out without taking the lights out, and you have to unplug bloody everything. But anyway, it's out and the camera's on, so let's get it back in the car. Right guys, all the lights and the center garnish are all back in, and look at that camera, doesn't it look factory like it's supposed to be there? Amazing. I've put the 1000 8mm nuts back in the holes. Just make sure you plug every single plug in. There's lots of plugs, because what will happen if you put all the trims back on and then you realize you got a bulb out and it's because you left a plug out, you're going to be very gutted. So just make sure every single nut and bolt and plug is plugged back in. Okay, anyway, we've got the wires, so that's fantastic. So this one is going to go to this one, and then we need a live on this, and we need to wire this bugger in as well, so that will get a feed of the reverse light, as will that. So I'll just join those two together and get a feed of the reverse light. I don't really need to ground it because the ground actually comes from the RCA from the head unit, but we'll test that before we do anything. Let's wire it all up and hide it all in here. In terms of the reverse light wire, so I've unhooked that here. I think it's the brown one, but let me just double check that and I'll get back to you. Right, the wiring is done. You gotta make sure you properly squeeze this down hard, yeah, if you use one of these. This is a spade lock. What you do is crimp it onto the brown wire, which is the live for the reverse, and then put your spade on your two live wires, the one that goes to the RCA and the one that goes to the main feed to the camera, and then plug that in, and that's done. So I'm just going to test it now. Okay, ignition is on, screen is on. Wowzers, that definitely works. That's amazing, guys. I don't even need to adjust it. It looks like we can just about see the bumper there. So that we can call a job done. I'm going to reroute the wires now and put all the panels back on, but I don't think you need to see that unless you are genuinely interested. Leave some comments down below if you are, and next time I'll make the video even longer. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the reverse camera install. I am going to actually do the amp and sub actually. So what to do, end the video or amp and sub? Right guys, I thought I might as well just bring you into the picture with the amp wiring. So with the amp wiring, we've run our live. I've put a terminal on that, and that will need to go on to the live terminal on here, which is their battery. And then with the P-con, that is your remote wire from the stereo, which I've already prepared. I've just got to put a terminal on the end of that, and then on the ground, which is there, you'll have to get a ground, a good ground, right? So I've already got that, and then this here will probably go on that bolt there. I'll put that bolt in. That actually goes into the chassis. It was rusted and horrible and it snapped, that's why I know, and I had to drill it out and tap it and all that stuff. So definitely goes into the body of the car, so that'll be a good grounding point. What else? So you need to put your sub wires in, and when you are generally using a sub, what I've done in the past is bridged it. So bridge from there to there. I think it's a plus off there and a minus off there. So normally you've got two channels, you've got one and then two, but I'm gonna bridge across the two. I'm pretty sure that's still how it's done. It's been a while since I've put a sub on an amp. So anyway, that's that. Then we've got the input from here. I'm not sure what that ISF thing is. I'll have a play with that later. Well, that's input. We could put that on max, I guess. We'll leave it on 1. And then the bass level, we'll have a mess about with that as well, depending on how heavy the bass is. And that's it. So remote, ground, battery, and then sub wire, and the phonos I've already plugged in, and that's on the line in because that's what's coming from the stereo. Okay, line out is if you wanted to go to another amp, you can do that. And then I'm not quite sure what that is, but anyway, let's do it. So I've got the earth, I'm going to bolt that in, and I've got the speaker wires already connected to the sub, so I'll put them in and I'll connect the live. Let's do that. And just like that, guys, battery live's on, ground's on, remote's on, and the RCAs are connected. Just gotta put the speaker cable on now. Oh, and I gotta do one more thing. The other thing that needed doing was the live wire that I ran earlier needed to be fused. Now, there's an unwritten rule that the fuse needs to live at least 6 inches away from the battery. So I've got roughly about 6 inches of wire there, probably a little bit more. I've attached one end to the fuse holder. It's not complicated to actually connect to the fuse holder. It's just that Allen key squasher downer, whatever you want to call it. Here it is on the other side. I just fitted it, and all you do is strip the wire back, put it in there, squash it down, make sure you sleeve all your stuff on first, and then connect it up to the battery. Well, basically connect it all together first with the fuse in, and then connect your end to the battery. I'm going to connect to the end to the battery now, and then I'm gonna put the fuse together. Righty ho, the battery terminal is connected. I think I'm going to put this on Velcro about there. Undecided yet, but I mean, it might not look the prettiest there, but it's going to be easy to access. I was thinking about maybe putting it on the battery somewhere or on the side of the fuse box, but if that fuse blows, you want it to be accessible. So mind you, if you put it on Velcro, it might be okay anywhere really, but I'll decide that later. For now, it's all connected up, so I'm going to try it out and see if it comes to life. Ignition on. Wait for the stereo to come on. And wait there, hold on. Close that. Right, that's on. Moment of truth. Oh yeah, baby. The amp is on. So now I need to connect those wires and test it out. Right guys, and that is all done. Speaker wires for the sub are in and bridged. I'm gonna have a mess about with the settings now and the sound. I can't include you on the video for that due to copyright reasons, and you probably won't be able to hear the bass very well anyway. So that's all for this video, I think.